Alrighty, time for another episode. Hey, Trajan, wake up! Have you been asleep this whole time?
Yeah, it's bye week. I mean, what else am I supposed to be doing? I've just been dreaming over here.
What were you dreaming about?
Matt Canada got fired.
Oof. Well, you're gonna have to keep dreaming as long as Rooney's in charge. Oh my God, we did it!
My dick is big, my dick is wide, my dick is huge.
That's right. Super Bowl, here we come.
So you're saying there's a chance?
We're ready to tear this baby up. Why? Good afternoon, football fans, and welcome to another episode of the Trajan Sportcast. I am your host, professional wrestler, and Kansas City Chiefs fanatic, Christian Tipple, joined alongside, as always, by my good friend, the bye-week recovering, terrible towel-twirling Trajan. How was your bye week? How was your rest week? Not having to yell at a TV screen.
I didn't see Matt Canada's offense, so yeah, it was good.
It was
It was,
awesome, wasn't
it was,
it?
it
we
was
could all
cold.
we could all use a break from that every once in a while, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so yes, the Steelers were on a bye week this week. The Chiefs had themselves a game on Thursday night, the second Thursday night football game of the season, and thank God the last one. Um, yeah, we got a fun show this week. We got the Chiefs game to recap. We have a special segment here. Just because the Steelers had a bye doesn't mean there's a rest for the wicked. We have a special segment here of I don't want to talk about it, where we will be I guess ripping off old wounds. We'll be picking at scabs, be ripping away bandages of the past, and we'll get a chance to relive some wholesome and fun moments of a Pittsburgh Steelers fan from the past. But more on that later. What a week of football it was. There was some crazy upsets. I mean, backup quarterbacks. I mean, am I right? Who'd have thought, right?
Who'd have thought?
But more on that later. Let's get to the my favorite part of the show now too, starting with the Kansas City Chiefs taking down the Denver Broncos with a score of 19-8, which I almost forgot. How about those Chiefs? It's as you can see by the box score here, the Chiefs did what they were supposed to do. They scored in every quarter, and the defense did what they were supposed to. They kept Denver off the scoreboard for 3/4 of the game. So I will not say that this was a perfect exhibition by the offense. It was good. It was good by the offense. They moved the ball down the field. Just some unfortunate struggles in the red zone. But the saying goes, a blind squirrel finds a nut eventually, and the Denver defense actually found a way to keep the game competitive this week. So got to give them credit for that, right?
Exactly.
So yes, the oh whoops, wrong button there. Hi, hello everybody. Yes, the Chiefs offense was kind of meh. Pat Mahomes, he didn't have a terrible game. He didn't have 5 touchdowns and 500 passing yards against the worst defense in the league. But hey, that's he wasn't the worst quarterback this week by any stretch of the imagination. Just going off the top of my head, the one interception that Mahomes did have, people saying like, why did he throw that in double coverage? I don't think people understood. The ball was tipped. His arm was hit and the ball was tipped. I'm pretty sure he meant to throw that pass away, actually. But yeah, that was a very unfortunate event, especially considering they were driving there. You know what I did this week in fantasy, Trajan?
What's that?
I went out and I picked up the Chiefs defense.
That
And
must have
you
been.
and you want to know how many points the Chiefs defense got me this week in fantasy?
What's that?
16 points. 16 points. And that's a good thing because the defense that I had was the New Orleans Saints defense previously. And if I would have played the New Orleans Saints defense this week, I would have lost.
Yep.
I would have lost. It was a 10-point difference in that. And I won by 6 points, only because Dickert the kicker did not miss a single field goal, luckily. It was close going into Monday Night Football. But Dickert the kicker was clutch for me there, too. And now I sit in second place. Well, tied for second place in our fantasy league. So good times all around, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely, all around. Everyone won this weekend in fantasy.
Absolutely. Oh man, I feel so bad for your team. I really do. It's if you
Take
have
the turn for the worse.
if you didn't have bad luck, you'd have no luck at all. It's insanity. All right. Well, back to the Chiefs game here. Pat Mahomes, 30 of 40 for 306 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The sole touchdown being to Kadarius Toney. Isaiah Pacheco, kind of a mediocre day for him. 16 carries for only 62 yards. Travis Kelce, had himself a game this time. He was very impressive. The only thing he didn't have was a touchdown, but still 9 receptions for 124 yards. My opponent did have Travis Kelce in fantasy this week and got him. I think it was 21 points. I want to say, but yeah, I mean, it was this felt more like a team win than the last few games. The offense did their job. They got down the field and they got points scored. Also, shout out to Harrison Butker for that 61-yard field goal at the end of the half that probably could have went for 68 or 69 yards.
That's
honestly,
pretty good.
He nailed that thing. It was impressive to see. I was so hoping we would shut them out. And then it was the unfortunate roughing the passer call on Mike Edwards. The refs claimed it was body weight that drew the flag there. I don't see how a 185-pound defensive back landing on a quarterback is that big of a deal. I mean, if it's a 300-pound guy, I totally understand that rule. You can't, force him into the ground and land your full body weight on him. But dude's 5'11", 185 pounds. I mean, can you really make the argument that would be detrimental to Russell Wilson's health? But credit where credit's due. Cortland Sutton, catch of the year nominee with that pass. I mean, in real time, yeah, I thought he was out of bounds, but no, he reeled it in one arm, knee was down, possession all the way through. Hats off to Sutton. That was a great catch there too. And unfortunately, we couldn't get the shutout going, but I am happy that the Chiefs are now 16 straight wins against the Denver Broncos, but they won't have much time to rest about that because they play them again, not this weekend, but next weekend, and it's at Denver this time. So, alrighty. You didn't have a whole lot of football to watch this week. Was that one of them that you did get a chance to watch?
I saw a few moments of that game, and then I was like, why am I watching the Denver Broncos play? And I started playing some video games. I had the place to myself and wasn't going to squander that time watching an inept offense and a mediocre, an inept defense too, let's just be honest, for the Denver Broncos try to stop you guys.
To be fair, there's probably a lot of Denver Bronco fans that felt the same way about this game. Although their defense did, it kept it respectable for the most part. Yeah. Like, just imagine if every single one of those field goals, there were 4 field goals, if those were touchdowns, then we're looking at 35-8. So, kudos to the defense to keep it as close as it was, even though it still ended up being a 2-possession game here too. So, but that was then. This is now. The Chiefs are looking forward to playing the Los Angeles Chargers at home at Arrowhead Stadium. And the last time they played at Arrowhead, it was a pretty close game. It came down to a pick 6 by Jalen Watson. That was the true difference maker. So obviously for the Chiefs and Chargers, they're always going to be exciting and pretty close games.
Do we do double or nothing on our bet?
I want to enjoy that Freddy's burger. I don't even know what I want yet. Yes, the bet was made last week, as some of you might remember, and I haven't cashed in as we are recording this yet, but I will. I'm sure I'll find a time where I'm extremely hungry and need a favor.
There we go.
Alrighty, well. Now it is time for Trajan's favorite part of this program. I presented this idea to him earlier because there's no Steelers game. Obviously, there's not a whole lot to talk about. And I will keep my word. When the Chiefs bye week happens, I will do the same thing. Welcome to this special edition of I Don't Want to Talk About It, because it is going to be a top 5. A top 5 of what, you might ask? Trajan is going to list out his top 5 most devastating Pittsburgh Steelers loss. And it doesn't matter if it's regular season or postseason. He is going to list out his top 5. And what I did too is I wrote down a list. I have 6 on my deal because he'll have some honorable mentions. I have a list of the top 5 in no particular order of what I think are going to be his most devastating games. And now these are games after 2003, I think is what I said, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think so. It was after 2003. So games, within the last 20 years, basically. So Trajan, the floor is yours. I'll let you start with the honorable mentions. I'm kind of curious to see what didn't make the cut before we dive into these.
So first off, I mean, we could have just gone over what makes you a Steelers fan, 5 greatest moments. We had to go with, I'm already 0-6 to my fantasy. My team has no offense, but let's just talk about what's terrible for you.
Hey, look, I'm just following the Brandon Perna, Tom Grossi method here too. People love seeing us suffer, so but believe me, I'll have some suffering to do here in a couple weeks when it's my bye week too. So, yes, before I interrupt you again, take it away.
All right, so I have 2 honorable mentions. The first one is being excited that a young guy was coming in to be our offensive coordinator, and that young guy being Matt Canada.
Oh.
Yeah, I get what I deserve.
Okay, I can see.
Next one is bigger. Big Ben getting injured with the elbow injury.
Mm-hmm.
So much promise going into it, and it really affected his arm strength after that. Could have things been different that undefeated 11-0 start of the season if he had a little bit more arm strength? Maybe. But we'll get into the list. And starting out, probably Temple's favorite moment, but my top 5 worst moment was paying to see my Pittsburgh Steelers get destroyed at Arrowhead.
Oh, man.
It was painful. I mean, there was a very slim chance of us winning that game. Things had to go very right. TJ was just coming off of an injury at that point, so he wasn't full health, and really we needed our defense to play lights out. And it just didn't happen, but it was embarrassing. But honorable mention along that, screw Mariah Carey. I hate her song. It'll forever be the worst song in my book.
Oh, all right.
Well,
hold on. Let's give some context here for those that don't know. Yes, it was, I believe, week 15 of the 2021 season.
Day out. Was it? It was the day after Christmas, right?
I believe so. It was one of the later weeks of the year. It was either week 15 or week 16. Trajan and I have the opportunity to go see both of our teams play live at Arrowhead Stadium, so that was pretty cool. This was the Travis Kelce COVID game. So Travis Kelce was ruled out like right before the game was supposed to start. So a little nervous going in there too. Had a few drinks or several in the parking lot. And the reason he now hates Mariah Carey is because in my joyous elation and a little bit of alcohol in my system here too, Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You" began playing probably halfway through the third quarter, and by that point the Chiefs are already up by 3 or 4 scores. And I put my arm around Trajan, and just in a matter of good faith, goodwill too, I figured we just do some caroling together, right?
Yeah.
I can only imagine how bad my singing voice was after the amount of the amount of Bud Lights and Modelo's were in my system before that happened. So yeah, that's on me. You are totally justified in your wrath of Mariah Carey, because it's all my fault that I ruined that for you too. So
Just know, one day I will have my revenge, and it will be sweet, and it will be painful,
and
and
it
you will feel my wrath.
and it will be totally deserved. I will concede that now. It will be totally deserved on my part. So number 5, that was one of the ones that was on my list. I figured it might have been an honorable mention, but it was one of the ones that I wrote down. So on to number 4.
Number 4. I really don't even want to say this. Number 4 is Tim Tebow.
That's all you got to say.
Second half, we had it. The momentum was on our side. Outscored him 17-3. Going into overtime with Big Ben, we got this. One freaking play, and we're kicked out by the Denver Broncos. And that's
Our R.I.P. Demarius Thomas.
that's in fairness, he did all the work, but it just had to be Tim Tebow.
Of course.
You know, gosh.
Well, so
At
far
least Josh Allen was beat by a good quarterback.
Well,
that's all I have to say about
that's
that.
fair. That's fair. All you had to do was say Tim Tebow, and I'm pretty sure any Steelers fan or even Broncos fan knows exactly what you're speaking about. Well, I'm 2 for 2.
That was WTF. We had this.
I'm 2 for 2 so far on the list. That was one of the first ones I thought of when I came up with this idea. So, all right, number 3. Let's see if I go 3 for 3.
So this one's tricksy because everything sums up to this. And it was the Killer Bees era. The Killer Bees, Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown. We had it. Our offense was high flying. Our defense, shaky. But our offense, man, we would go out and just with sheer will destroy teams. And it never felt like we were out of a game. Big Ben would get the ball. We'd go down there. Le'Veon Bell would break off a 30-yard run. Antonio Brown would catch an amazing pass in the end zone. Big Ben was had best stats of his career. It was a good time to be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, except when playoffs rolled around. And just, that's where it ends. The 2014 Cincinnati Bengals take out Le'Veon Bell with an injury. Blunt, we traded him off earlier in the year, or released him actually. So we didn't have a really good backup and lose a nail biter to the Ravens. 2015, screw the Patriots. End us once again. And 2016, I think, is when it all kind of fell apart. That's when we went into Jacksonville, and well, actually, did we go to Jacksonville? I think we went to Jacksonville.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say the first time, yes, was at Jacksonville.
Yeah, second time it was at Heinz Field, and we just got walloped, and it wasn't even funny. I mean, Big Ben tried to come back, but
Blake Bortles, man.
Yep. But that leads us to my number 2. and it's freaking Jesse James.
I called it.
The sheer
Oh.
emotion in that game. I
Mm.
mean, New England was the boogeyman for us.
Yes.
So many Steelers, great teams, ended at the hands of Belichick, and Tom Brady, and some of them may have been cheating. But you could mention the season Big Ben went 15 and won. But that one hurt. I still remember where I was. I was in my parents' living room. I remember hitting the floor, my dad punching a hole through the wall.
Oh.
Just, we had that game. We had it, and we blew it, and the refs blew it. Should have been a catch. Everyone said, "How is this not a catch?" I mean, lunges for the goal line, and the ball moves just a little bit, but stays in his hands the whole time there. It just touches the ground. I mean, it was a football move. That's the rule that came out of it.
Mhm.
But come on, the ball's going to move a little bit. You're lunging for the end zone. But, it is what it is.
So, you know, I you say you remember where you were for that game. I still remember where I was for that game. That's how much that catch, that non-catch that is a catch, made an impression probably on a lot of people, honestly, because that was almost more egregious than the Des Bryant's catch.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there with at my dad's house, and I look like I'm sure it's a touchdown, so I'm looking down at my phone. And the next thing I know, I hear Tony Romo on commentary say, "Oh, Jim, I don't think they, I don't think they think they caught it." I look up and I'm like, "How? How can they not think he caught it?" And then they showed the angle from the sideline down the goal line. And when I saw the hand movement, the ball twist, not even 90 degrees, but it twisted just enough, I thought to myself, no way. They're going to call that an incomplete pass, aren't they? And
Yep.
sure enough, ref gets on the PA, and I'll still remember the words. The receiver in the end zone did not survive the ground. It's an incomplete pass. I was, you know, smiling because I just couldn't believe that happened. And thank God it wasn't my team. Elsewise, my my emotion would have been just the same or even worse as yours. Oh yeah, I can't say I blame your dad for punching a hole in a wall. I can only imagine how I'd react.
Yeah.
That's a call that it still echoes through the annals of NFL blown call history because, as you mentioned, the definition of a catch was basically rewritten right after right after that game. Not even the end of the season. After that game, they were addressing that.
Yep.
So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that was. And then it didn't help the fact that Todd Haley called what was a very weird fake spike throw into the end zone that was easily picked off by New England. That didn't help things either because technically the Steelers still had a chance.
Yep.
After
we
that play,
did.
they still had a chance to win the game, but then it would that have won the game or tied the game? I forget the score. Imagine that. I remember all the things except what the score was.
That would have won the game because it was 27-24.
That's right. It wasn't a 7 point game. It was a 3 or 4 point game. That's right.
But it would have tied it, but we could have just ended it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That one hurts because divisional round, we get the bye. This is back when two teams had the bye.
Mhm.
We faced the Jaguars, and they just annihilate us. The whole week, Le'Veon Bell's talking trash on him. Turns out he didn't practice. This leads to the next year of him holding out. That was the end of. That was the end, really. That was the 2018 season, probably the end of it. But there was cracks already forming at that point. We could never put a solid defense on the field to complement our offense. And yeah, that hurts because if we would have got that win, we would have been number one. We wouldn't face the Jags. They seem to, whatever reason, have our number. They had Big Ben's number. And that yeah, that one stung. That one was bad.
Mm-hmm.
But that was also the year that I saw 43-14 Steelers beat down the Chiefs. So I mean,
Yes.
not terrible, but it was bad.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
But
man.
no, that wasn't that year. That was the other year, 2017. But anyways, this mission altogether. That's why I call it the Killer Bees era. The last one is painful for what it meant for our legacy.
Mm.
And it was Green Bay beating us in the Super Bowl. At that point in time, it sucked that we lost, but I just thought we'd be back. We'd be back. Ben has time, but it seemed like we were going to go down there and make magic happen. Big Ben had it in his hands, like always came back. He always came back in those moments. And ball just falls helplessly to the ground on the pass to Mike Wallace. Ends the game. But it just seems like we would be back, and we never have been back since. And that would have been our 7th Super Bowl. So that one hurts. That was my top. For what it just means for our legacy.
Right. All right, so I nailed 4 out of the 5. For some reason, I thought the Browns playoff loss in the COVID year would
Never happened.
would make the list.
Never happened.
COVID year that never happened. I agree. COVID year never happened. The Super Bowl 55 never happened. Who won that? Who cares? No one cares.
That one, I completely forgot about it because I mostly try to block out that memory of that season.
Fair.
But yeah, no, yeah.
All right. Well, didn't that feel good? To get all that negative energy out of there. Just to put it out in the open and everything. I mean,
no, I don't feel better.
I feel worse.
I feel like I've lost something tonight.
Oh man. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for this special edition of I Don't Want to Talk About It. And there are some other teams that probably don't want to talk about what happened this week. How about we start with the let's start out with the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, losing to Zach Wilson, Jalen Hurts having his worst game, ever as the quarterback for the Eagles. I mean, geez, what else can you say besides that?
I mean, it really sucks for Jalen Hurts because, usually great quarterbacks get the refs to help you. But he doesn't seem to get it.
Nope, not this time. So, no, that was one of the games that I was able to watch on TV, and it just seemed like whenever the Jets defense would get a big stop or force a big turnover, the offense would just completely fall on their face. And all right, well, Eagles get the ball back. Here's where they take advantage, right? And it never came to pass. If
turnovers don't help.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to talk about a game where a defense dragged the offense, kicking and screaming to a victory, the Jets were the epitome of that in this game. Do I think the Eagles are going to fall apart now and crumble, not make the playoffs? Absolutely not. The Eagles will bounce back. There's plenty of time for that. Do I think that the Jets maybe have a shot to find a step or so, gain some footing? Maybe.
I think they're playing with a chip on their shoulders.
They are.
First off, they feel like they were robbed on your guys' game, which they were. They feel like they were robbed of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is fighting to be back, and there's reports that he could be back week 15, 16,
Was walking around on the sideline, no crutches.
making throws.
Hmm.
I mean, they feel like if they stay in this, they might have a shot.
They might. Well, I'll tell you a team that doesn't have a shot. How about the New England Patriots? I mean, good God. Obviously, Jimmy Garoppolo goes out with an injury. You got Brian Hoyer, which I guess to be fair, Brian Hoyer was a backup on Belichick's team. Doesn't Belichick's backups and as former assistants do well against Belichick? Maybe that's what the case was.
Yeah, sure.
Dude, actual question for you regarding this game too. Do you believe that the Patriots are actively tanking for Caleb Williams?
I don't think they would tank with Belichick.
That's just never been his style, has it?
It hasn't been his style, but I think this is the end of we're seeing the final season of Bill Belichick.
Wow. Okay.
I
Alrighty.
think this is his swan song. He's leaving. Good riddance. And that's just it.
That's just that. All right. You know, I would agree with that. I'm just thinking that maybe Robert Kraft sees, okay, you know, as much as you've done for me, everyone makes mistakes. Mac Jones, he was a mistake. Maybe if we give you one more chance with this new hot prospect quarterback, if you can get the job done, then we'll keep you around. Or, or maybe there'll be an ultimatum by the end of the season. If I don't see improvement by the end of the season, maybe he gets his walking papers.
Right.
Only time will tell, I suppose. Well, I'm sure your brother loved this one. How about them Cleveland Browns?
I cannot believe they pulled off the upset. I mean, good for them. I mean, one, because they helped save Big Ben's record on most regular wins without a loss on his rookie year. So good on them. Next thing though is now they're tied with us. Oh, the AFC North won. I mean, yeah, I don't like that.
Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. And the fact that XFL MVP PJ Walker was the starting quarterback for the Browns, and they got the job done. Although 49ers fans will probably shoot me for saying this, the injury bug is creeping in again. It's not, nothing season ending, luckily, yet. But boy, when the 49ers begin to get injured, they don't stop getting injured. And
And
all of the hype this year, the fact that they made it as far as they did last year with the injuries they had, made it to the NFC Championship game, and now they got a healthy squad. They start off undefeated, and then the injuries are starting to creep up, and then they lose to a backup quarterback that also had the Browns have a good defense, really good defense. Does doubt start to settle in now if you're a 49ers fan?
I think the funniest thing is the 49ers, I believe, were talking trash at the beginning of this, and there was actually a fight
There was the scuffle,
at
yeah.
the beginning. And you go out and then you lose to that team.
Whew.
But yeah, no, I said it before. I wanted to see a game where Purdy, it was on him to go win. Didn't have Christian McCaffrey. He didn't have Debo. Brock Purdy had to go make the play.
And he
And he
did. To his credit, he did. He got them into field goal range, and it came down to the foot of Moody, and he pushed it right. So,
But all he had to do was throw a touchdown pass, and he would have won it.
then we wouldn't have this conversation, right?
Exactly.
Not everyone can be Justin Tucker or Harrison Butker, right? Um,
Exactly.
well, speaking of pregame scuffles, there was one at the beginning of the Cowboys Chargers game too.
Yep, there was. There was quite a bit of scuffles this week, I think,
There
actually.
were actually there was a good healthy amount.
But I wanted the Chargers to win in this one. And it always seems like they had it, but then they drop it.
Then they Brandon Staley themselves.
Yes. And I hope that they just are really pissed off for this next week and just destroy you guys like 43-2.
Oh my god.
It's a safety. And that safety is because Brandon Staley was overconfident and went for it on fourth down in his own end zone.
At his own 2 yard line. Good God. Uh, well,
Hmm.
that was another one of those games where the Cowboys they took the lead late, and Justin Herbert had a chance to be clutch and drive down the field, and his offensive line let him down, his receivers let him down, and you can only do so much. And you know, some would say that Justin Herbert doesn't have that clutch gene in him. Others might say that the coaching staff or the personnel around him is holding him back. I mean, where
I
that's
say you
that's a
put him on
comment.
a good team.
Yeah, I would be curious to hear what your guys' thoughts in the comments below. But go ahead.
Put him on the Jets right now.
Ooh,
That's a scary team.
you know,
Put him,
would be.
in some of these teams that just really need a quarterback. Put him with the Browns.
Ooh.
I would be scared to face the Browns. But, replace the Cincinnati quarterback. I can't remember his name. That'd be a scary team.
Well, that Cincinnati quarterback did get the Bengals back to I think back to 500
Yeah.
now. Is that correct?
I don't know. Let me see. Yes, 3-3.
Yep, that's right.
So
Part Partly and due to Geno Smith just absolutely crapping the bed in the red zone multiple times in that game. That was painful to watch. That was another game that I got to see on TV, and I was like, okay, Seahawks are driving, and Geno Smith threw a pick, and Geno Smith got sacked, and Geno Smith threw it away. Like, just what has happened? He's regressed to the old Geno Smith, and credit to the Bengals. They took advantage, and they're back to 500. Are they back to being dominant? I don't think so, but still a
Yeah,
long
Joe
season.
Burrow
They've got
24 for
time.
35 with 185 yards. Dominant? No.
No, but a win is a win is a win. So let's see how they build upon that in the next few weeks, and we'll end it off with this one: the Buffalo Bills and the Tyrod Taylor led New York Giants. And I'll ask you this really quick, because we'll talk about the pass interference in a moment. Do you think if the Giants didn't trip over themselves at the end of the first half and got a touchdown on that play, do you think the Giants win this game?
I don't know about that because I feel like Bills are one of those teams that if there's a sense of urgency and the game's close, that Josh Allen is going to find a way, especially against a Giants team. I mean, Giants, they generally play tough. I mean, they'll shock you every once in a while. And, these out of conference games, they're really, you don't play them that much. You don't know their style of football as much as, your divisional or these, I mean, Bills, they know your guys' style of play, so it's always close. It's usually high scoring. Same with, some other teams there, but it just seems always facing an NFC team when you're an AFC team, it just doesn't go well for some reason. I don't know.
And it doesn't, and that's the deal. I put a nice little meme in the Discord chat where it was Tyrod, or excuse me, Daniel Jones looking at his offensive line protecting Tyrod Taylor, like, because honestly, Tyrod Taylor had a clean pocket for a good portion of the game in order to make some of those throws, and yeah, I was pretty impressed how long the Giants were basically in control of this game up until the end. Obviously, the Bills take the lead, but the Giants are driving down the field, and they get down to the goal line. There's no time left. Throw in the end zone, incomplete, but pass interference on the Bills. Ball placed at the 1 yard line, and then the conundrum happens. It's the Pete Carroll situation. Do you run the ball with Saquon Barkley, or do you pass at the goal line? And just that question alone is a loaded question. But they drop back. He tries to throw it to Darren Waller. The defender is draped all over him. He's got a hold of the jersey with both hands. Both hands has him gripped of the jersey. Refs don't call it. Incomplete pass. I mean, hey, we said it. We've been saying it. You know, when it comes to it, let them play, and they let them play. Although it was kind of funny seeing the fans say that Josh Allen gets all the calls. Oh wait, no, hold on, that's Patrick Mahomes. That's
Well, they are right with Patrick Mahomes, but anyways. I mean, yeah, you give Saquon the ball because it's not like he was lousy the whole game. I mean, if the Bills just totally took Barkley out of the equation, I get it. But he had 93 yards on the game. I mean, let him have the ball.
Exactly. Put it on his shoulders. Let him earn his money.
Well, he's a running back.
That's true. That's true.
Let
him earn his spare change.
Daniel Jones gets that money.
Exactly. To sit on the sideline. It's obviously injured. We wish him the best. Hopefully he's back on the field soon. And hopefully the offensive line takes care of him like they took care of Tyrod Taylor for the next few weeks. So we'll see how that goes. Chiefs Chargers, Sunday afternoon, 3:30. What do the Steelers got on tap?
We got the Rams.
So
we shall see on that one. The Rams are looking good. We had to get them right when they have Cooper Kupp and what's his name, Puka or whatever.
Puka Nakua.
Yeah. So at SoFi Stadium, it should be a good game. It's a 3:00 game, so we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. Alrighty. Well, let us know down in the comments below. What was your favorite Steelers moment? I'm kidding. But seriously, what was your what was the biggest surprise of last week? Which backup quarterback impressed you the most this past week? I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about that. But that is our show this week. I could see the tears starting to roll down the face of Trajan over there. So we'll end the misery here. Thank you, everybody.
Jordan meme.
Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all of your friends. And we will see you all in the next episode.